Hi, everybody. I hope all is well with everyone. Thank you so much for joining me. My name is Minister Annie Bell, and I am the founder of Wealth Management Ministries, where we endeavor to bridge the gap between the rich and the poor through financial literacy and Christian counseling. Today, I am before you as your wealth coach. And basically, what we'll be doing today is just briefly going through more of an introductory amount of teaching, because obviously these workshops and seminars normally take anywhere from at the minimum 4 hours, and then but as long as a 6-week program. But today, just to kind of get your feet wet, get you started, and focusing on you obtaining your portion of your riches here while you're on earth. Now, wealth has a myriad of definitions, but in the Bible, and that's how we normally go by, is what does the Bible say about wealth? And the Bible talks about basically the whole man, his health, their relationship with God, their relationship with people on earth, families, and then your riches. And so a man who is lacking in any of those areas wouldn't be considered wealthy. But when you have a well-balanced amount in everything in those core areas, then you're considered a wealthy person. Today we're going to focus on the riches, and so how to obtain it and how to maintain it, not only for your generation, for future generation. Now, the next slide that you're going to see that I'm going to put up here is about a man, and I want you to guess who it is. He is a man who did not complete a 4th grade education. That's all he had was fourth grade education. And he had 2 failed attempts at as an entrepreneur, as a business owner. But his 3rd business, he was able to sell it for $1 million in the 1900s. Now, you know, in $1 million these days is a lot of money, but it was even more in the 1900s to be able to sell it at that amount. He died in 1945, but his empire still exists, and he is, and his empire actually is worth billions today. So I want you to kind of think about it. And what I want you to also think about in terms of is, where did you get started? Think about what your background is, and were you born with a silver spoon in your mouth? Were you, did you get a large inheritance? Did you finish college? Do you have a doctorate's degree? If you do, wonderful. If you don't, you're like most of us, who basically have to start with whatever we have. And I just want to tell you that whatever you have is enough for God to expand. And so it doesn't matter how you got started. It's really about how you finish, right? You heard that before. This part, and again, this is interactive. Feel free to stop the video at any time while we're doing this, and then restart it after you catch up, or restart it after you have finished the exercise. This part of the exercise, as you can see on the slide, is what are your dreams? Do you have aspirations to be an entrepreneur? Do you want to be a homeowner? If you are already a homeowner, do you desire a larger house? Do you desire to travel? That's me. I have the travel bug like nobody's business. If I could travel 6 months out of the year, I would. So that's me. So what we're going to do now is take a moment and do a brain dump. I want you to think about everything you ever wanted to do, everything that made your heart go pitter-patter, and write it down. This is a brain dumping. So at this point, you can stop this video and write it down. Dump everything from your brain onto the paper. Don't worry about what other people said. Don't worry about who said you can't make it. Don't worry about somebody saying that it was a dumb idea. Hey, there's no dumb ideas, and if this is something that you still have and feel passionate about, then it's worth writing down. Or what did God tell you? What did he tell you when you were 5, 6, 10, 12 years old? What did he give you a vision of when you were young? Just write it down, all right? Now that you have written it all down, we're going to take a strategic approach to how to attain it. Now, I'm going to tell you, this part of the lesson, even when I am in person doing it, the enemy does come to distract. He does bring sleepiness. He will try to bring anything to make you lose focus on what I'm teaching. And it might even sound like this. The great thing is, it's on video, so you can actually play it again. Rewind it and play it over and over again until you get it. But when we're starting to talk about money and breaking bondages of finance, the enemy does come to distract. And so, I just want you to know that so you can strap on and kind of get ready. Now, budget. Budgeting is a strategic way to get yourself to where you want to be. I used it. This is the same methodology that God gave me. As a matter of fact, this exact very same budget that He gave me when I was in financial crisis. And then before I knew it, I was up and out of it. So I'm going to give you those same strategies as well. I want you to look at a budget as a GPS system for your dreams. Just like if you were going to travel, there's that word again, travel to wherever you are, to Miami or Orlando, whatever destination you want to go to. When you go to put it into the GPS and you put in Disney World, I'm going to go to Disney World. The very next thing it's going to ask you is, where are you? Should we use your location now? If you don't know where you are now, you're not going to be able to get to where you want to go. So that's what the budget does. It takes a snapshot of where you are right now and says, where do you want to go? So in a budget, and I'm going to show you the budget sheet in just a minute, the budget is again going to access where you are currently, a snapshot of where you are and where you want to go. A budget is a working document. It's never going to be completed and it's done and over with. Why? Because your life is always changing. You might get another job, get a promotion, maybe you have to add another debt, whatever it is. It's ever moving. And so your budget will always reflect that. Allow the entire family to be involved in it. If you're married especially, get your spouse involved. I know it's hard and you've got to break through some barriers to do that sometimes, and I understand. But you have to do it so that you're on the same sheet of music. If you're on a budget and your spouse is not, well, it could destroy the budget, vice versa. And if you're a single parent, or if you're married but your children are a little bit older, get them involved in the budgeting. That way, when you have to say no to an extra toy or no to the new Jordan tennis shoes, they'll kind of understand. Of course, they're gonna be children, but they'll kind of understand, and it teaches them at a young age as well that this is strategic, and they'll be able to employ the same thing. Put the budget in different places. After you've created one, put it in your dashboard, not your dashboard, your glove compartment. Put it in your purse, put it in your wallet, because sometimes we have that itching and we want to buy a new bicycle, car, or a new blouse or whatever have you, and we got to pull that out and say, is it in our budget to do? If it is, great. If it's not, then we're going to have to learn to exert some self-control. All right? So here's the budget that you're going to be utilizing. As you can see, it's divided into 2 different areas. This particular budget is on an Excel worksheet, and it's a little bit more inclusive, exhaustive. It has more line items for expenses, but for the sake of this particular PowerPoint, I'm just showing you this small part. The brown part that you see is the expenses. You're going to list everything down, whether it's your car, oil changes, gas, repairs, anything. How much you pay for your home, per month. What do you pay for groceries per month? Going out to eat, movies, entertainment. List it all down. Okay, and if you forget something, come back and add it. And with the Excel sheet, it's very, very quick. Once you add it, it'll actually do all the calculation for you. The green part is how much money comes into your home, and it also includes your savings plans. And discretionary income basically is your income minus your expenses. So you're going to write it all down, put in or type it in if you get the free worksheet, and it's going to do the math for you to say how much discretionary income you have. Again, some people I've coached many people whose discretionary income was in the negative. The great thing is now you're able to see from your expenses where you have an overload or out of balanced spending. For instance, maybe you're spending way more money on going out to eat than you should. You know, that's one of my vices. I love going out to eat too, as well as traveling. So if you're spending $300 eating out and $500 on groceries, well, maybe you can take down your how much you're going to go out to eat, how many times you're going to go out to eat. So, or if you're just that you have that type of family where y'all are out all the time because of soccer practice, football games, or whatever have you, and you do have to eat out because of the sheer scheduling, then maybe you cut down how much groceries you get. So you see, I think you kind of see my point. If you have 500 channels on your cable, well, maybe you can cut it down to 250. Do you really have time to watch 500 channels? I know I don't. So at first it's going to feel like you're amputating an arm, but really, if you cut that down a little bit, you'll see where you can save some money. And that's where I'd say that's where you can find money, is how, where, and how are you really spending, and make sure that you're doing it wisely. I know I don't have a whole bunch of time, but I want to make sure I talk about a few things real quick. Anyone who has any questions, feel free to inbox me. Now, paying off debts. After, of course, you got your budget down, you want to pay your debts off. Paying off credit cards first with the highest interest rate. So put them in priority order and list it on, I either wrote it down or put it on an Excel worksheet. And so you're going to pay off your highest credit card debts first. After you pay off the first one, whatever amount you were paying on that per month, you're going to lump it together with the next credit card payment that has the highest interest rate. So for instance, JCPenney's, maybe you paying $50 a month on JCPenney's. Now that you've paid that off, you're going to take that $50 and then add it to your payment to Macy's. So if your Macy's payment was $30, now you're going to make an $80 payment a month. Don't take that extra money that of paying off that JCPenney's card to go and spend it, okay? You got to buckle down and pay off the next credit card. And you keep rolling it over like that. So if you paid Macy's off, that $80 that you were paying to Macy's, lump it on to Lowe's or whichever the next credit card is. And that way, you'll pay it off faster. Also, you might want to try paying it off in lump sum. So for instance, if you purchased an item for $250, then maybe you pay off that particular item that you paid using your credit card. So $250 to pay for that. The next time, whatever chunk you use to purchase something else, you pay that next amount off. So you can pay it off in larger chunks if you have that type of flexibility, discretionary income available at the end of the month. And slow and steady wins the race. Remember that, because sometimes it's going to feel like, hey, I'm not getting anywhere. But if you're really being strategic and you're really buckling down on these bills and not charge anymore, then you'll see a huge dent. Now, with that said, put your credit cards somewhere that is not accessible. Put it in, my husband and I have what's called an ice box. Not an actual freezer, but we put it in this little thing and we put it in a safe. So in order for us to spend, we got to come, open the safe up, open up the billfold, and by that time, hopefully, the urge to spend that money has gone, has dissipated. So something like that. The next thing is to have a good savings plan. And in the savings plan, you're going to have three, okay, at minimum. Your daily living expenses should be in a checking account. That should have no fees if you can avoid it, and no minimums to keep in the account, because everything that you're going to use is going to be on a monthly basis is going to be in there. Your savings account, however, is what and it could be a money market account, but is where you're going to save up and hold 3 months worth. If you can do 6 months, great, but at minimum 3 months worth of expenses. So if you spend $1,000 a month, then you want to have $3,000 in the savings account. And once you get up to that 3 months of expenses, you can turn that savings account into a money market, because it adds a little bit more interest. Then, so let's say you've done well and you have $4,000 in your savings account. Well, savings accounts and money markets, they don't have the best interest. So what you want to do is have a retirement account. Retirement accounts normally, like a 401k or an IRA, has a higher rate of interest because it is especially made for you to earn interest. Okay, and that can be as conservative or as aggressive as you need it to be. The next slide, as you can see, is our the house. I call it the retirement house. Inside of this retirement house, you can put anything in there to let it grow tax-free. Okay? So, for instance, an IRA, or maybe you have a 401k at your job. If you have a 401k, make sure you're maxing out their matches. So if they're matching dollar for dollar up to $35, or dollar for dollar up to, they normally do percentages, so up to 5% of your income or 10% of your income, throw all your money in there, okay? Because that is growing, it's going in there tax-free, and it's growing tax-free. By the time you're ready to take it out, you take it out at retirement, and so you're going to be at the retirement age, and so the taxes will be a little bit lower. The IRA kind of operates the same way, but it's individual and it's not something that's offered through your in place of employment. 403B is also something that is offered for teachers and government workers. Okay, and I know I'm going through this kind of fast, but I don't want to take over too much of your time. You also want to be sure with the IRA and the 401ks that you don't take it out before age 62 and a half, or you do get dinged. The Roth IRA is a little bit different. That one, before you put it into a Roth IRA, it's already taxed. So when you take it out, it's tax free. You just pay the taxes on the growth. I know I went through a whole lot with you, and I hope it did not inundate you. But please feel free to inbox me if you want to kind of talk things over. I also have a special package running this month, so just get on my page and you'll be able to see some of the things that I'm offering. But get some help, get started. Now, to get your free Excel budget worksheet, and there's a free ebook in there called Recharge, just go to my website and register real quick. Put your name in and your email address, and boom, that's it. Go to www.anniebellministries.com and you'll be able to get that information. It's been great. Whew. Sorry again about having to kind of rush through this, but I am available if you want a little bit more information and some coaching. Okay, thank you so much. Bye-bye.